Yeah. It turns out I might have been a little too hard on the battery that comes with the Eachine EV100 goggles. It came plugged in and it looked completely dead, and I tested it with my fluke meter and it showed no volts, none at all. I was really surprised it came back after charging it all. But some people have pointed out, including Eachine, that there is some internal magic going on to make sure it doesn't output any voltage, so you can't do exactly what I thought they did. People who have had ski goggle style goggles for a while probably knew this right off the bat, but I'm used to box goggles and using my regular lipos, so that was new to me. What we're going to do in this one is test it and see exactly where that breakdown is, what exactly it will do, where it cuts off, what it looks like on the inside, and try and determine a little better whether this battery is the one you should get for this, because it is pretty cheap to replace it. So right now we've got the button. One of the reasons I think people might choose this is because it already has the connectors, and you can get other connectors that will charge it, but the connector here is ready to go when the DVR becomes available. So it is convenient. The other thing that makes it convenient is the little button here. I have 3 lights. So what does 3 lights mean? Let's find out. 3 lights is 7.62 volts, which is right at standard voltage output for this. Now, it's possible, so that's actually 7.4 volts. That's a little bit over above, so hey, look, about 3 lights. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna totally kill this battery, get it down completely. I'm not gonna use my EV100s for this because I think I have a better option. I'm gonna use my VR D2 Pro goggles because they have a much bigger screen, which will probably take much more power. It has 2 receivers. I just expect this to pull it down faster. Not too fast for this. It's not going to draw that much, but it'll wear it out for me. So I'm going to plug this in, which I expect it to just plug in and connect up and come on. There we go. So now we have nothing but static there. Been a while since I've used these. One of the things I liked about these that the EV100s don't do is it does show me my signal strength in the corner for each of them. So it was really good about that. These goggles had a few great features for that, but overall I haven't used them much. So I'm just gonna let this go until it won't go anymore. Oh no, I forgot to unplug my battery. Now my goggles are dead, my battery's dead, I've killed it. Oh wait, that was last night. Now I know better. Now let's see what happens. It wouldn't power on the goggles and it shows nothing. Totally dead battery, except this time I know that's definitely not the case. The question is, where did it stop? I don't know. To find that out, we're going to have to totally ignore the sticker. Okay, so there are a couple things here. This seam right along this edge, and I believe there's going to be screws underneath. Just stick a knife under here. I'll probably cut myself. There we go. So we peel that back, and there's a screw. Ah. The sticker that isn't supposed to be removed didn't come off nicely. There we go. There we go. So there are 2 screws. My kids watch this channel called What's Inside. I wonder if I can steal their theme music for this part. They won't mind, right? So I think this part is holding it on. It's a really nice little sticker. Just has a button and some lights underneath. Now we'll see if it opens up easier. There we go. Now that side's coming open. Is there one on the bottom too? There! Oh, there we go. Nice and seamless. So inside, and there is no balance lead or connections or anything between them. They are simply connected in series, so this little board can't be balancing these from any method that I understand. So I would expect if that was the case, there would be 3 wires going on here, would connect to this board. We're powering this board and it would be balancing, but that does not seem to be the case. So there's just 2 1000 milliamp 3.7 volt LiPo batteries. The board here, there we go. So now I should be able to test from this part. What we've got going is the battery is wired into the board. We have inputs here. It goes through its circuitry. I didn't make it through enough electrical engineering classes to tell you exactly what these are. I will leave that for Bruce on RC model reviews. But I can tell I should be able to connect here and see the output. Oh, I can't. So I expected to be able to connect to the terminals on this side and be able to tell what the voltage in this battery is. But it doesn't seem to even give me a reading right off of that wire, and I don't know why. I understand I wouldn't get anything off of this side because this is the outputs, but I would expect the input to still have a voltage reading. I could crack this battery open and try and connect it directly. I am going to open this up because there's another circuit board in here, and it might actually be connecting and balancing these cells. Let's take a look here, see how far we can go. If you see smoke, run. Actually, I am going to grab my LiPo bag to throw this into just in case something happens. Grab this, throw it in my bag, and then carry it outside in that if I need to. Kids, don't try this at home. All right. Okay, so there is a balance board, I'm assuming, in here. So yeah, this is probably going to be reading the inputs because that's going right off of the cells, and that is going to be balancing those boards. So I'm becoming more and more impressed with this. Now maybe from here, I wonder if that's actually what's cutting off the voltage. I would be surprised, but let's see what kind of a reading we get on this side. I finally found a place to get a reading off of it. These aren't totally exposed, but it seems to be cutting off at 339, totally an acceptable voltage. So that's 339. Let me see if I can get the other side. 3, 4, 6, 7, and 3391. So it's close. That might be considered acceptable by this circuit board. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is very carefully put the tape back on here. I'm gonna put it on a charger and let it charge, let it fully max out, and then we will take these measurements again and see how good of a job it did. Are they gonna balance out at 4.2 each? Are they gonna go higher? I don't know, and there's only one way to find out. Well, that battery charges, and it's gonna take all night. I'm gonna be up at 5 a.m. again tomorrow. I wanna look at a couple other options for what you can use for powering, because while this keeps looking better and better, I think I'm gonna have to totally go back on my first video and say this is actually a pretty good little device, but we'll see. We're not done yet. A lot of people are going to want to look at other options. I showed these batteries in the first video, and these are the batteries that come with the VRD2 goggles. These have these cell style batteries. These are still LiPos, but they're in cells, and I have been told there's a balance in here for them. I have never cut one of these open, and I'm kind of hesitant to because I can't reseal this one. That one I can put back together. These I really can't. These have been good for me though, and I've got a lot of cycles on them. They're cheap and they charge off a barrel connector, so I always keep one on the goggles unplugged and one on the charger ready to go. And they've been good, and they're also 2200 milliamp, and they're very small. They're about the same size as that battery. So these have been good for me. Some people don't like them because you can't prove that they have a balance connector, and if you plan on getting a DVR, there's absolutely no way to hook these up. So if you don't care about DVR, these are an option. Not one I'm probably going to use because I want to record every flight once I have a DVR. This is another option that this comes with the Amway Commander. So a couple people have said they'll just use this. I won't use this at all. I think this is a really, really bad idea because this will accept 2, 3, or 4S batteries. And as far as I can tell, the EV100s will only accept a 2S battery. I'm really afraid if you plug in a 3S or a 4S, which you would be easy to do, you would absolutely ruin them. And it uses the balance connector, which means you, again, can't use the DVR. So it's the right style connector, but I wouldn't use this at all. What I probably would use is this one that I don't have yet, because this is a JST to 5.5 millimeter barrel connector. That would allow me to use things like this as a 2S battery. I wouldn't use this one, it's way too small. Or I'll link a couple other larger batteries. About a 1500 I think is about right. It weighs a little more than that one, but it's still not that heavy. And it would last longer. And it has a balance connector, a 2S balance connector, so that will work for the DVR when it comes out. You can get them with JST. There's also an XT60. That's probably your best option if you don't want these, and I'm still undecided. The 1500 milliamp battery is $10, we'll say. That is $13. That'll be a little more convenient, and it has the button for charging, but these are probably better batteries in the long run. So those are kind of the two options that I think are viable. Either these or any of what you would call a Fat Shark style battery that has a 2S balance connector on it, and hopefully that third wire doesn't cause a problem. Surely it won't. That would be ludicrous. It'll just use the outside wires. If you're new to batteries, these are 2S batteries, and the wire on the one that's charging right now that it comes with has 2 wires on the outside, a black and a red. This one has 3 wires. But what they will do is, if they just pin it So on the DVR, so it uses the 2 outside pins, that will be 7.4 volts. It will just totally ignore that inside wire. Not connecting that inside wire is not a problem at all. You don't have to connect to 3. You can connect to these two and get 3.7. You can connect to these two and get 3.7, and that would use either one of the batteries. But if you connect to the outside, you'll get 7.4, and it will take from both the batteries equally. So that should still work just fine. It's now 5 a.m. The battery should be fully charged. I have 4 lights. Now I just need to take this back apart, slide everything out of here, get that tape back off of here, and we'll see if these cells are balanced. Okay, so there we go. Oh, exactly 4.2. That's always nice to see. It's not some random number in the area, even though this fluke isn't going to give me exact readings. That's pretty good. And I expect 4.21. Close enough for me. So that's nice. These are balanced, so it'll balance and charge. They discharged at a little bit of a different rate, but not off terribly. And then they balanced up to exactly where a LiPo is supposed to be. Now I get to put it back together. Now that I've seen the insides and I've seen exactly how this works, would I buy more? Absolutely I will. I'll buy several of them probably, as long as these are the goggles I plan on using. Haven't determined that yet. A lot of that's going to depend on the DVR. For me, I don't imagine for the most part these are going to replace though my Amway Commanders. As much as I rave about the screen quality, which was really outstanding, they're still going to get trumped by goggles with a DVR built in that I can see in true diversity. So it's more about value. These are value goggles. But if these are the ones you're going to buy because you're starting out and they're a really good deal, I wouldn't have any hesitation buying more of these batteries. Now I say this for me because I come from a perspective where I will go out and if I fly 4 battery packs, it's a really good day. To me, having that is probably more valuable than having a bigger battery. These will work plenty long if they have a charged or even a halfway charged battery to get me through the day. If you're wanting goggles and you're gonna go out and rip it for 6 or 8 hours, yeah, no, you need a bigger battery. You need the adapter that I showed and a 2000 milliamp battery, several of them probably. That's going to be a better option for you than what we've got here. But for me, for people who are going to fly a couple packs a day, this seems to be pretty nice. It has a nice protection in it, has a nice balanced charge built right into it. It charges via USB. I haven't measured the from completely dead to full charge time, but I'll say the first time when it was dead, it charged for 1 hour and 15 minutes to get to where it was. So it was a little over half. So it's about a 2.5 hour charge from nothing to full on USB. If it was just a 1000 milliamp battery for $13, that would be super duper overpriced, but you're paying for the advanced electronics and the connectors and everything all ready to go. A nice, easy to go package. I would have no hesitation with it at all. If you found this useful, leave a like down below and comment with which battery option do you think is best, or is there another brand of battery that has these same connectors so they'll work with the DVR also. Maybe it's a little bigger inside, maybe it's cheaper. And until next time, remember, make sure you use your big USB power supply for this. You don't want to undercut it and make it take 10 hours instead.